I'm Dave Nelson. Joining me on the host panel to talk about the week's sci-fi news is Brad Ludwig, Matt Stein, and Mark Krawczyk. Mark, welcome back.
Oh, thanks. Glad to be back amongst all these fine geeks.
Whenever we have a movie-related subject or movie-related guest, we bring in Mark because, Mark, you talk about movies as part of your podcastery, right?
A podcast, YouTube channel. Yeah, I live movies. Hence the one website I'm with, We Live Film. Yeah, I love movies. I talk about them all the time.
Real quick, what's your podcast, and where do people want to go to find you online?
Real quick, you can look for the Spoiler Room, it's called, on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or on SpecialMarkProductions.com, where I have that and all the other fine stuff there. Brad's been on a few episodes as well, and we just finished our 2.5-hour mega episode of discussion of the 3 Mad Max films. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we just love talking movies. So,
all right, Mark, welcome aboard as always. Our guests this week are the stars. We usually have one guest geek, but this week we have not one, not two, not three, but 4 guest geeks, and they're all the stars of the short film Mining Moon, which premiered. When did it premiere, guys?
February.
It premiered on February 28th at 4 p.m. at Godicon.
Nice. 4 o'clock precise.
So welcome. Do you guys want to just kind of run down the line there and introduce yourselves?
All right. My name's Gord. I played Ambassador Thude.
I'm Sydney Howlett, and I played Kaya.
I'm Kyle Hughes, and I played Fingies.
I'm Jessie Smith. I played Slave Girl.
I don't recognize you girls because your hair is not extremely
white
blonde.
I don't have my eyes on right now, or the little nose.
No, it was a really enjoyable short film, and you guys are going to be showing it at a film festival coming up in June, right?
Yeah.
That's right. We're going to be showing at CoreCon, which is in Fargo, just near you guys, as I understand.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
Nearby some of us. Those guys, the majority of this podcast is in Wisconsin, which is... There's a state in between, so you have to go through Minnesota to get to North Dakota. But I'm in Ottawa. I'm in completely. I'm in the same country you guys are, but way.
No, wait a minute. The question I have here is that looks like a Captain America shirt on you. Shouldn't you be wearing like a Captain Canada shirt or something like that?
I haven't been in the country long enough to be eligible for one of those yet. I'm still an official. I'm still not an official Canadian yet. I'm working on it. I'm just.
Okay, would Captain Canada just go around and apologize to everybody?
Yeah, that's it. That's correct, actually.
Oh, sorry.
And there it is.
Before we get into the news of the week, do you guys want to talk about the movie real quick? How it came together? How you guys all were cast on it? Just your experiences working on the film.
Yeah.
Gord, do you want to kind of take lead on that?
Yeah, no worries. The film itself was written by Brian Moreland, the director guy, who I have on Facebook if we want to pitch him a question. It was written by him based upon some characters that he had known through playing some video games. Basically, it was inspired by some actual real-life people who kind of gave him the general inspiration for the film. After it was written, of course, go through the usual experience of getting casting. A few of the parts were written with a few people in mind. Others were, we went out and we cast for. Then the movie magic happens. It's actually quite a long process to put together such a short film, and it's quite remarkable too how much of it has nothing to do with shooting day too. I can tell you this, that Brian, who did the majority of the post work, he did the editing for it, the majority of the editing and the special effects. I think it was about a 4 to 6 month cycle to actually do all of the post work, and that doesn't even count all the pre-work too that you have to go on these things. So even making a short little film is quite an epic adventure, for absolute certain. Sydney, how about you? What was your film experience?
My film experience is, well, I heard about it from Brian because I was in his previous short film with Gord. It's called Game Companion, and I tried out, and I actually talked to the person who my character Kaya was inspired by, and we talked a little bit, and she was saying that I guess she watched my audition tape, and she said that she really loved, like, the aura about me was really perfect for it, so she loved it, and I'm really happy to hear that from the actual person who was inspired by it, because she said that apparently I guess portrayed, like, her essence really well, so that was really rewarding to hear. And my experience was the usual awesome. I just love working in film and acting.
God, it's better than my experience. With my experiences, our acting professor was also in Game Companions, Leon Potter, and he basically gave us an audition time and date for the show Mining Moon. So me and some other friends of ours decided to go, like, oh, why don't we give this a shot? And we did a standard, like, he films an audition and he watches it. But for me, it was like all these cool kind of characters. And the one character I wanted to be was already casted, so I was like, all right, what other cool characters could I be? So the character of Fingies, being a head security guard, actually really came over me. I was like, oh, I could really play this guy, and then that's the role I got. And the email, I remember getting the email saying, like, congratulations, you got the role of Fingies, and I asked, well, what's the character inspired by? And he was mainly about a Star Wars character in the Clone Wars, Cad Bane. If you ever watched the Clone Wars, sorry. I watched that show a lot, so I actually knew really how to put my character of Fingies with that character of Cad Bane into it, of how I always wanted to basically protect my prophet to try to get the prophet at the end of it. So that's what I carried in with my as my character. Even though, while filming, I then read that when I got the full script, I see that I get my butt kicked about twice during the film. So that was a bit of a cool little change that I had there. Instead of getting, like, being all the hero, like maybe bar lead, I get my butt kicked twice.
It's such a big difference from theater. It was such a great experience. Very nerve-wracking though, but it was a lot of fun. Like, I got to be a product girl, and I'm basically showing off beer and a giant gummy worm I had to eat. It was sticky.
That was fun.
You should see the footage that didn't make it into the film. It's awesome.
Didn't you, like, puke? Or, like,
no,
I
I bitten off so much because I thought they wanted me to eat it like I was a hungry wolf. So I ate it, and I had so much in my mouth I couldn't. It was just stuck there.
What it is we're not conveying is when we say a gigantic gummy worm, the gummy worm itself was about as wide as this water bottle. Like, we're not talking those things. Yeah, we're talking, like the kielbasa sausage of gummy worms here. And yet, she's not exactly a gigantic woman to start. So by scale, it would be like sticking a loaf of bread in your face. A gummy loaf of bread.
Wow.
Shows you how many movies I've watched. I've seen Game Companion. I actually wrote a review. Wrote a review about it.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Well, you didn't read my review, but no. Just
Oh, there it is.
There it is. No, I say that to everybody. No, I joke. I enjoyed Game Companion with the stuff they pulled in, and I thought I recognized the people in this, recognized you from that film, because I'm sitting there going, these people seem very familiar, though you have a lot more makeup in that on. So definitely, now was this film crowdfunded? Or was this all personally financed by director or producer? Because I was just wondering on that, because I know it's a smaller scale budgeted film, even for a short film. You still have a lot of post-production stuff in there. So was it crowdfunded, or was it personally financed? Or
it was personally financed by Brian. And another thing to keep in mind, too, is the significant amount of people had volunteered their time to the project.
Sure.
And yeah, as with any small production, there's a certain amount of you do it for the love of it, not for the money. Because if I was doing it for the money, I would have starved and I'd be living in a tent right now. So,
Yeah, I actually worked on a couple indie film sets as well, so I understand the whole volunteer and having passion for it. And you can tell there is passion in this project. I really enjoyed this one. I liked what the world building that was going on, and everybody. The makeup I thought really surprised me for a film on this budget. I think you guys all looked great, and you could see influences from other sci-fi. I think there's a little Babylon 5 influence in there.
there's absolutely that. And I'll tell you this. This is always surprises people. Is that was actually my hair. That was not prosthetic.
I remember seeing him in the makeup, and you see it like first they just get it all out, then they start bending it up like that. You're like, Gord, you got a different hairstyle, and you just see this half of his hair straight up and half his hair like normal.
Yeah,
it looks so good.
Yeah, they actually flat ironed my head straight out. Yeah, took and cut my hair into, snip that hair away. And something that didn't come across, because I was always pointed towards the camera, was the backside of my hair wasn't painted black.
Oh.
So I don't know if it actually snuck through in any of the frames, because Brian's very thorough with this stuff. There is, you can actually see the fact that I'm very much a ginger in this. There's no getting away around this. If light hits it just right, the top of the big fan of hair actually lights up red just a little bit.
Movie magic. You gotta love it.
Oh, yeah.
I just love the special.
All right.
I just wanted to add, I just enjoyed the special effects for it being a small budget film. I think they looked really good, but I liked them in Game Companion too. I thought the look you guys had for Game Companion was fantastic. Looked so much like a video game. I would play that video game.
Now, you know that all of those fighting sequences you saw were actually done for real in real life. Like those were that. There was a lot of the people that you see on there. I was the guy of the big staff in the black outfit and the big hat. Sure. That was actually me. And during one of the scenes, Leon actually lopped the tip of his toe off with a sword by accident.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's in there as we understand. It actually made it in the film. And he does this one scene, and it comes down, and he finished it, and then he kind of went down on the ground, and he's like, I think we got a problem.
The joys of independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the sci-fi news of the week, and you guys just feel free to jump in whenever you want and comment about these stories. And one of the big things that I know Brad and I are very excited about is a couple of trailers released this week for two new shows that are coming out. One's coming out this fall, the other's coming out in early 2016, and we're talking about the trailers for Supergirl and DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which came out today. Brad, we were talking about this at the tail end of the Alien Invasion that we recorded earlier, and you were like glowing. Your thoughts, please.
I saw both. I'm a lot more excited for DC's Legends of Tomorrow than I am Supergirl. I'm definitely going to give Supergirl a shot, but so many superheroes in one. I mean, it could be done very poorly. We don't know, but looking at the group of people that they put together, I'm not even talking the actors and actresses. I'm talking about the writers and the producers. They're the same folks that work on Arrow and the Flash. So it's most likely really not going to suck. But rip.
The benchmark, not sucking.
That's definitely a big part of it. But finally, we get to see Rip Hunter. Of all of the DC heroes, of all of the characters and all of the actors that could portray that particular character, it's such an interesting thing. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
And Matt, just so those playing along at home in the Galactic Netcast drinking game.
I'm drinking right now.
Okay, wait a second. Arthur Darvill, who is in this new show, was on Doctor Who for 3
crap.
seasons.
Take a drink.
I did.
So, what do you guys think? What's your favorite part of this trailer, guys? I assume. Okay, I'm not assuming anything. Matt could have seen it. He might have seen it. I know that Brad saw it. Probably Mark saw it. And I don't
think
know about
Matt would rather be set on fire and put out with a shovel than watch it.
I mean, that's really drastic. I actually considered mowing my lawn and pulling weeds prior to watching this, but yours is a little too far for me.
The Supergirl is getting so much hate, and I was keeping an open mind with it only because it's going for a different demographic, and people are having a hard time with it. Smallville ran for 10 seasons, and I don't know why. Okay, I was just a casual watcher, but every episode I watched of Smallville, I go, "What season is this?" And it'd say 8, and I'm like, "Really?"
Hey, now,
So,
I own all the episodes of Smallville.
I'm glad you do, Brett. I'm not saying it's bad that someone liked it, but I'm saying looking at this just from the trailer, it had a Smallville type of tone to it. And so the hate that is going across the universe when all these people were really big fans of Smallville, I think are cutting it off before they're giving it a chance. I saw it, I'm like, it's tailored to a younger audience. It's tailored to the female audience. There look like there may be some really kick-ass action scenes in here, and but people aren't giving it a chance. They're all like, "Oh, this is horrible." But then they go to the Heroes of Tomorrow, the new one, with the group of superheroes. And if you listen to that dialogue's not much worse than the dialogue in the Supergirl trailer, but everybody's gushing about the one, but hating the other, and I'm like, the dialogue's very similar. You still got guys in suits. You still got,
It's not so much about the dialogue, I think. It's about the network that they're on.
Yeah.
Smallville was on the CW. You get a lot of people that are loyal to the CW and know that type of programming that appears on the CW.
Mm-hmm.
CBS? Not so much.
You know what?
It's a different crowd.
Brad, also, it's the same producers, too. And theoretically, technically, that is, the CW is owned by CBS. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
There are certain things that are shuffled to certain areas, and that's not, that's a good thing. And I think that Supergirl definitely has a strong shot at doing well. I think once it finds its audience, I think it's gonna do good things.
Gotham's running for a second season, so if Gotham's going for a second, Supergirl's got a chance.
So is it bad that I like Gotham?
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. Because
Matt, it's
Gotham,
Not at all, Matt.
Matt,
Not at all.
See, yeah.
watching Gotham is like being punched in the genitals.
Oh,
like-
shut up, Brad.
Like
Okay.
30
Don't
minutes
for that. Just remember that.
Different strokes for different folks, okay? There's good points. There's good parts of Gotham. It's not all good, but some of it is.
But it's got an audience. It does have an audience. That's the thing.
You're right.
Okay, so let me go back here a little bit. I'm not a diehard Gotham fan. I think I have 2 or 3 episodes sitting on my DVR, so it's not like I have to watch it every week. I have found it interesting enough to finish out the first season. Now, that's about the most I could do. I'm more excited for the new episode of Teen Mom or Deadliest Catch than Gotham. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth.
This catch is real drama.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I love that show. I don't know. I'm like 14-year-old girl on the inside, but Brad, you should just be proud that I'm watching. Shut up, Brad. You should just be proud that I'm watching something that's sci-fi.
Well, then you'll enjoy Supergirl then if you're inside.
And that was what I was getting to. Is I'm not opposed to seeing it. I don't think it'll suck. I just did not go out of my way to watch the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more excited for things like the new Terminator or Suicide Squad, which I'm actually super excited about.
Yeah, I am
Suicide
too.
Squad, I can get with you. Terminator, on the other hand, yeah, we'll
You
agree.
watch your mouth.
We'll
I
agree to
don't know.
disagree on that one.
You're
Arnold
beating the dead
Schwarzenegger
horse
action
in that
figure.
Terminator. Terminator is just it's got to go. I mean, they've milked that franchise. I love Terminator. I love Terminator
Arnold
2.
will never die. Arnold will never die.
Arnold's
He's God amongst men.
Should have just skipped it, and I think they've made a couple after that, and I don't care.
If Arnold keeps making movies like Maggie, he will get me to the theater.
And
or
I
the
didn't.
video
I
on
haven't seen
demand.
it yet.
Okay.
But I really need to.
You want to see Maggie? If you're a big Arnold fan, Maggie is the Arnold movie for you.
Is it out, or is it just
It's out on video on demand and limited release and video on demand, and it's Arnold in a dramatic role, and I loved him in it.
It's like it's a zombie film, essentially, isn't it?
It is a zombie film, yes, but it's more along the lines of maybe a Walking Dead type of thing, where you don't get Arnold in mass fighting with massive amounts of zombies at all. There's one Arnold zombie fight. The rest of it's drama and him dealing with his daughter who's slowly turning into a zombie, and it's one of probably his best performances I've seen in a long time.
But you know, regardless of how dramatic and how well he acts, everybody's going to the theater to watch him say something like, "Look out, the zombie!" That's really going.
I don't see a problem with any of that, actually.
All right, before a fight breaks out, before Matt actually jumps through his screen and climbs through the internet to kick Gord's ass, let's move on.
I'm waiting for him to apologize, like a good Canadian.
Oh, and there it is.
You'll have to find us in Canada, and we know Americans' knowledge of geography in Canada. So
He's not wrong.
I'm going to cross the border and be like, what the hell is a kilometer? I'm going home.
Okay. This is gonna take you guys. This is gonna grab you by the whatever and freak you out. But The Rock is making his own version of Guardians of the Galaxy. How do you feel?
That's so funny because just I was helping teach an acting class, and the kids kept randomly being like, they're like, Wayne Johnson after everything, and I was like, what? Why? And then I guess I don't know. That's really funny though.
Yeah. Okay.
I like The Rock, and that
I like him. He's
that stems from like my childhood love of pro wrestling. But I don't think, and I liked Guardians of the Galaxy, which is probably saying a lot, but I don't think he should create that movie again. He should stick to things like Pain and Gain, where he's a coked out Bible thumper.
That was so good. I really
love that
enjoyed
movie.
that movie, to be honest. That's a really good movie.
Dwayne Johnson is great in the roles. Some of the roles he picks. I mean, I really enjoyed him actually in was it Get Shorty, where he played the gay cowboy. I forgot what it was.
I didn't know that.
I think it's gay. I think it's Get Shorty, or I think it's Get Shorty that he was in that where he played a gay cowboy. And I loved him in that role. I liked him in the kids movie he did, the Witch Mountain one it was, or
Witch Mountain, Race to Witch Mountain.
Yeah, I liked him in that. I like him in Fast and Furious. Of course, I like the Fast and Furious series. Don't judge me.
It was Be Cool. It was the follow-up.
Be Cool. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. It was the sequel to Get Shorty. Was Be Cool, and he played a gay cowboy. And he's hilarious in it. I loved him in Runaway. He is. He's actually a decent actor when he gets the right role. But for doing this, do your own thing. Why do your own version of Guardians?
Okay. It's just being compared. It's being compared to the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure that it's not exactly what the Guardians of the Galaxy is. It is called Alpha Squad 7. It's starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's being described as a 4-quadrant action comedy, which I don't know what that means. It's being compared to Independence Day, Armageddon, and Guardians of the Galaxy. So those are some of the buzzwords attached to this story.
They take all the good parts of all four of those movies. Because I seem to remember there's being some real turds in Armageddon. And, there's Independence Day. I don't know. There's some serious plot holes. So as long as they take the right parts of those movies and stick them together, then they'll have something that's better than The Mummy 2.
Wait, somebody was paying attention to the plot of ID4? What? You don't pay attention to the plot of the ID4. You sit there so a big spaceship blows up all the landmarks in the U.S.
Aren't they making a sequel to that too? I mean, wasn't there a rumor that they're actually working on a independent?
Oh, it's not a rumor. It is a fact. It's happening.
Yeah, it is. We talk about that quite frequently on our other podcast, The Alien Invasion. So we're well versed on the whole ID4 sequel. Definitely.
Well, then this sounds like a bandage I should not rip off right now. Then.
You know what stands out about this story is the name. I love this name, Alpha Squad 7. It sounds like an over-the-top. It sounds like this is going to be an over-the-top fun movie just by the name itself.
As long as they don't take it seriously, I think that's the important details.
Yeah.
Because it's when they bring in The Rock. I still call him The Rock mentally here. Yeah. When they bring him in, as long as they're not just trying to create a vessel for him to be in, and they actually, they give it proper treatment, and it's not just, bringing in star power so they can sell tickets. I think that's what it's got to really come down to. It's got to have some meat and potatoes to it. And something that genuinely fits, like not just cloning Guardians of the Galaxy either, because you've seen some other movies that were made for the sake of trying to capitalize on the momentum created by other franchises. You have a good treatment.
One of the producers is one of the producers on San Andreas, so if San Andreas does well, then this guy will have more people having his back on this movie. And it's being written by comedy writers, so it's got the right ingredients.
Good.
I'm looking for Ice Pirates for a New Generation. That's what I'm hoping.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. All right, hey guys, are you guys seem like Mark? You were gonna say something? I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just going to say, what would be the modern equivalent of space herpes? But anyway.
Space HPV, I guess. So, you guys seem like video game fans, fanatics, players. How do you guys feel about Disney Infinity? Is that something you guys are into or know of?
Rip-off. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a money grabber. That's all what Disney Infinity is. It's just having more people like, they want to be that one character from their one favorite Disney film. And now I'm just seeing that they're bringing Star Wars into it. Or I'm seeing that, and I'm just like, they can't really do that. Like, yeah, they can, but again, they just want more money is all they want, really. For all the hardcore Star Wars fans or maybe new Star Wars fans that have just been watching the new television show like Star Wars The Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, and now they're seeing how they're coming with a 7th Star Wars episode with Disney Infinity, they're like, that's a perfect chance. Now let's bring the Star Wars universe into Disney Infinity. Let's get more money now.
Somebody explain how this works, because there are action figures involved as well, or there's toys involved too. How does that work?
Well, if anybody doesn't mind, because I'm a huge Skylanders fan. When Skylanders came out, which is what Infinity ripped off, it basically ripped it off. Skylanders, basically, they each have a little, like a chip in them, a little RF chip, and in the base of the character, and it keeps track of the stats, the name, and the gold that you collect. And you put it on a little base, and it used to be wireless, but now it's through the USB cable. You put it on a special base, and it tells the game, hey, I have this character, and it identifies it, and then the character is on screen, and you play him on screen. And what was great about Skylanders is it was cross-platform, so your little action figure guy for your PS3 could work on the DS version, could work on the Wii version, the Xbox version. It was brilliant. You took collectible figures and video games and melded them together. It was like crack for me. Because I'm like, oh my God, I gotta have every one. And my wife's like, you're buying this for the kids, right? No, for me. They can get their own. But I mean, it's a fun game. But that's how it works. They each have a little chip in the base, and it identifies it through the program what character you have there, and then that loads it into. It's like a USB stick. If you'd have a USB stick and stick it in there with a character on it, it loaded into the game, and you could play it as a playable character.
Okay.
And that's how the Infinity works. Exact same type of technology, and actually, Skylanders is still better. But yeah,
by far.
that's how it works. Is that it's got the chip in there, and you just load the figure, and boom. And then when they come out with a new game, there's new game mechanics or new figures or better graphics, and there's multi-versions of the figures, and yeah, it can get pretty expensive.
Is anybody surprised though that Disney is pulling Star Wars into this? I mean, they're already marketing the hell out of the franchise, right? So why not?
They pulled Marvel into it, which was no surprise. And
This is the milking gesture, by the way.
yeah, Disney's got its hands on all of these products, and they are going to milk it for all it's worth, and they've got the money to back it. And as I've always said, if Disney wants something to be successful, it will be successful because they will just continually throw money at it until it's successful.
You know, I was thinking the other day of all the things that Disney owns, and they own a lot of stuff. I mean, most of the big franchises around today are owned by Disney.
All hail Disney. All hail Disney.
I, for one, welcome our mouse overlords.
All right, let's move on to the next story.
That was a
Luke?
Simpsons reference. I appreciated it.
What was?
What Mark said. The actual line is, "I for one welcome our ant overlords."
Yes.
You know what? I think that comes from something else way before The Simpsons, actually. Because
All I care about is the Simpsons.
that's true. Of course. What am I saying? What am I
Immortal.
Yeah.
The Simpsons are absolutely immortal. They're never going to age and die, unless it's in flashback or flash forward.
Yeah, that's very true.
Mark, have you heard of this Luc Besson? Or I'm sure I'm totally.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
love Luke.
Hell yes. Fifth Element is the best sci-fi alien film of all time.
Thank
So
you, Brad.
Brother.
I will fight anybody on that.
So he's coming back with a brand new science fiction, what sounds like what could be like a franchise. It's going to be based on a series of French graphic novels that have been around since 1967 called Valerian. Have any of you heard of Valerian?
I know it's a root. That's about it.
I have not heard of it, but I don't care because it's Luc Besson, and I will watch anything of his. I love The Professional, love Fifth Element. I even enjoyed Lucy, and no one else here, no one that I know enjoyed Lucy. I even enjoyed Lucy.
I enjoyed Lucy for what it was, absolutely.
So, I like the director. He does something different. He does he also did a family movie, I think for France, cable or whatever. It was like one of their direct TV. It was based off of some series of books about this lady, and she was flying a pterodactyl, and it was set in like the early 1900s. I forgot the name of it right now, but because it's a really long name. But I love his visual style, and just hearing that he's working on a new project and it's sci-fi, I'm in. Even if I'm not familiar with the work, I'm like, I'll watch it.
Deep in, it's deep, hard sci-fi too. The plot revolves around the main character of Valerian, an operative for the space-time police of Galaxity, capital of the imperialist Terran Empire. The intrepid agent and his scarlet-haired traveling companion from medieval France, Laureline, embark on a series of daring adventures patrolling the past to thwart the evil deeds of a renegade Galaxity scientist. Clone armies, rogue planetoids, doomsday weapons, time-manipulating aliens, and more. Doesn't that sound awesome?
Sounds awesome.
You couldn't fit any more sci-fi or hyperbolic words in there.
It's like every single science fiction trope just jammed in there. Sorry.
All they need is a guy that gets angry and turns green, and you're completely set. I mean, that's about it.
So yeah, this is exciting stuff.
He gets angry and turns into a robot. There you go.
Yeah. So let's see. There's some people involved from Chronicle, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. These are actors that are actually in the movie. There's somebody from the Suicide Squad that's going to be in this.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And tentative release schedule is summer of 2017. So you don't have very long to wait, actually.
Cool.
The years fly by when you get older. The years fly by.
They do, definitely. This is really going to be interesting to see how a franchise like this or a movie like this will fare against nothing but sequels and remakes, because that's all we have these days is sequels and remakes, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I think we as a customer base, so to speak, I think we're finally getting past that point where we're starting to thirst for something new, but not too terribly unfamiliar. Let's face it, we as consumers are a little skittish when it comes to something that delves too far away with what we like. But I think X-Men and Superman. My God, how many times are they going to remake Spider-Man? That's all I want to know. Are they going to?
And the latest headline is they have what's his face from they got the actor supposedly to play the next
Asha Butterfield.
Asha Butterfield. Yeah.
They were going young, and he's definitely young. That's for sure.
He was in. Wasn't he the one in Ender's Game?
Yes, he was in Ender's Game.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the latest headline that he's the next actor for Spider-Man. So we'll see if that pans out. Let's stay on the subject of superhero films. Fox announces this week another X-Men film from writer-director Josh Boone. He's from Fault in Our Stars. That's an interesting choice. He's developing a New Mutants spin-off with co-writer Nate Galtney and.
That's weird. That's like Jackass, pretty much. Is it not? Nitro Circus, wasn't it that show that's like it was on MTV or something, and they just did like stupid stuff. I didn't know. That's weird.
Really?
Yeah. That's because I used to watch it with my dad.
Huh? Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting mix of people. You got the writer director of The Fault in Our Stars and this guy. What the hell?
Now the question I'm going to have about this is. Where are they going to go with this? Is you got to think that we've fallen in love with so many of the various X series characters. The various mutants. As we all know, that they're really tickling the sides of starting to do crossovers within the Marvel universe of maybe throwing some of the X-Men somewhere in there with the Avengers. I know they're tickling that idea. The question is are they going to do something good with this in terms of are they going to give it substance? Are they? That's what I have. That'd be my concern with this one here, because they've really milked Wolverine to death.
Oh.
I am Wolverine. I'm Howlett. I am Wolverine, pretty much.
And,
I got the nails.
Can you do this without it becoming like a weird version of the Avengers Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Is anybody here familiar with New Mutants?
I read one issue once.
I'm familiar by the description the article gave of it. It's like it's new students at Xavier's school, right? Basically.
Yes. Each one of the here comes the comic nerd, everybody. Back up. So each one of the mutants are all teenagers, which is why Fault in Our Stars is a good choice for that teenage voice. So you've got the way this is structured. You've got mutants who are distrusted individuals. They are teenagers, which makes them even more awkward and fearful and whatnot. And then you've got each of the original team members. You had somebody from Ireland, you had a Native American, you had a wide variety of different peoples, creating this team, these students who will eventually be trained to become X-Men at some point if they do well with their studies and developing their abilities.
you know, if they don't take the whiny teenage angst, you know,
Yeah.
like, I'm having fun with my
As long
feeling.
as, yeah,
Oh,
if it's not Dawson's Creek with superpowers, we'll be okay.
yeah, it's, you know, if they go Twilight for X-Men, I'm out. I'm totally out.
Oh, that'd be
It's
so bad.
just
Well, they gotta go. They gotta go somewhere because it sounds like this next X-Men movie and then Wolverine after that. That's it for that cast of X-Men characters. So they gotta go. If they want to continue the franchise, they gotta do something with it.
I don't think Patrick Stewart, as much as I hate to say this, and I don't mean this in a mean way, I don't know how many more years we have out of Patrick Stewart, because, I mean, he's getting up there, isn't he? You know,
Well, not only him, but Ian McKellen as
Yeah.
well.
Oh. And Wolverine and
yeah.
I mean they're all aging out, so there's only so many more left they can do actually.
And let's hope they pick somebody with awesome superpowers, you know, not like the mutant that can grow their fingernails at a moderate pace.
Oh,
Or
Or who can like change the channel by blinking.
I can turn my teeth a slight shade of yellow. That's a stupid power. I don't care.
First mutants ever. Yeah.
It's a fact.
Hey, let's stay on the super team up theme and talk about the Teen Titans, Brad. Sounds like TNT has given a quick update on what's going on with that. It sounds like they're going to start production later on this summer, but there's no premiere date yet. It's still in production, sounds like.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because you got an interesting group of folks that are going to be in that. You've got Barbara Gordon, who's going to be, I believe that she's going to be Oracle. She's going to be in the wheelchair.
I was going to say Sentinel. That's wrong. No, Oracle.
Yeah. You've got Hank Hall and Dawn Granger as Hawk and Dove. That'll be an interesting dynamic between the two of them. One gets their abilities from the Lords of Order and the other from the Lords of Chaos, so they have a different power set between them. You've got Raven, who is the daughter of a demon, hell-bent on trying to conquer the Earth. And then you've got an alien princess, Coriander, from Starfire is her name. So, and then you've got Dick Grayson, Nightwing. So it's going to be interesting.
Is he going to be Nightwing or is he going to be Robin in it?
Nightwing.
He's going to be Nightwing.
Oh, so they aren't going to do the Robin. No. They aren't going that young. They're going. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think just for the purposes of not confusing movie properties and whatnot.
Right.
Nightwing is technically a separate character. So
that's why on Arrow they phased out the Suicide Squad and brought in the League of Assassins. They don't want to confuse the movie franchise with the TV franchise.
Yeah, Warner kind of has a list of, they'll go to them with, hey, we'd like to do this, and they're like, you can't have that character and that character. That's part of the reason why Waller was phased out, because with Suicide Squad coming out, they're phasing that out, and Deadshot got phased out as well from being on the show. So
yeah, exactly.
They're culling that a little bit.
It sounds like this story went on and talked about the development of the series, and it sounds like they're trying to figure out the tone of the series because they've got all these other superhero shows to compete with and superhero team-up shows to compete with too.
Yep.
Because you've got the Legends of Tomorrow. That's what it's called, right, Brad?
Yep.
Legends. Okay. And then you've got what else could be considered a team-up show? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. might be a team-up show next season.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I haven't watched much of season 2 yet. I want to. Oh no! And it's
Get
not.
on
I'm
it.
not going to. I'm gonna binge watch it because I need closure. I need closure.
I haven't watched an episode outside of the pilot, so.
Oh.
What?
Oh. Mark, you're off the show.
Okay, bye.
All right, so that's going to do it for the news. And before we get out of here, we got some feedback from somebody that messaged us. We have a text number that you can call. It's 805-328-3966. You can call that, leave a voicemail, or leave a text message like the Sasquatch known as Josh did. He says, "Hello, I found you guys through Pat Rothfuss' Twitter the other night and wanted to say your content is fantastic. Thanks for your hard work. I'm working my way through your podcasts as I type this. It really helps pass the time at work." So thank you, Josh. Appreciate you reaching out. And kind of as a side note, we were having a text conversation, and he wasn't sure at first that I was real because he wasn't expecting us to actually respond to him. So I thought that was kind of cool how we surprised him a little bit. And I think Josh is a new fan of the network. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. All right. Hey, thanks, guys. The cast of Mining Moon for being our guests, our single yet plural guest this week on the Sci-Fi Geeks Club. You guys are going to be on next time, and we're going to talk about other movies that take place on moons and on asteroids involving mining. So get ready for.
All right. Good time, man.
We got a pretty impressive list of movies, maybe some that you wouldn't really expect. So you guys want to just real quick talk about where people can find out more information about Mining Moon and more about the film festival that it's going to be shown at in Fargo in June?
You bet. Where you can find us is we're on the web, www.miningmoon.com. And you can probably find that in the YouTube links that are going to show up beneath us here, is right below there. And on there you can find all of our upcoming showing dates. Of course, we're going to be showing at CoreCon in Fargo, which I don't know the exact date CoreCon is going to be happening, but
11th to 14th, I think.
11th to 14th. There we go, at CoreCon. That's where you guys are. And, of course, new dates where we're going to be showing are popping up all over the world. Quite often we don't know when the dates are going to be until shortly before when we get accepted into them. So just come and check out our website, www.miningmoon.com. You can also find us on Facebook for the group Mining Moon the Film. Just look us up, join it, and you can come and interact with us.
All right, thanks, guys. Again, I'm Dave Nelson on behalf of Brad, Anessa, Matt, Mark, and the cast of Mining Moon. We will talk to you guys next time.
Woohoo!
Bye, Dad.
Bye.
We're still live, but let me just save this real quick, and we'll start part 2 real quick. Feel free to get up and stretch your legs, get a beverage if you want. Everybody.
Right. Where I'm going.
I need some heroin. I'll be right back.
Can I make one of these?
More of a cocaine guy.
Oh.
Okay, which
No,
number?
it still goes. Oh God, I can hear that whine. Just is driving me insane. I can hear that. We have a light bulb that's I've got light bulbs on a dimmer and they're singing it's this high pitched 12 kilohertz sound, and it's driving me utterly insane. But
yeah, I could totally understand that.
yeah, I wonder if we can get away. Is it gonna make the lighting awful? Yeah, that's making the lighting awful. Damn it.
Yeah, light and electricity can really affect the sound of things.
Yes.
I found out.
Oh yeah. Well, thankfully, all of our gear here is actually properly shielded and all that other stuff.
There, now you can talk.
So this next segment here, this is much quicker than the other one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on who, how much of a discussion we make out of it. I mean, it depends on how many people have seen the movies, how much we talk about each individual movie. So we'll see what happens. Are you guys on a time limit? Do you have to be out of there at a certain time?
Oh no, I live here. You can't,
Oh.
if anybody has a problem with this happening, it's me. And nobody comes to visit me anyways. So company's good.
You can invite me over.
Yeah. Oop, I got it. And there we go. Oh yeah. Drink.
Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, good. I don't want to go pee in the middle of the podcast.
Oh, the trick is to have, you don't actually have an entire glass of anything. You just have enough to give yourself a little sips as you go along.
Well, I just
I can fill this glass.
put in a catheter before we start recording.
Yeah, Matt, do you wear one of those
Poop sacks?
bags?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends. Yeah.
Hey, you're
You know,
only
the
filming from like the waist up, so you can just let
Mark,
it go.
The funny part is my wife works on Depends and creates the stuff that sucks up the
Actually,
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah, that the polymer that they put in there, that's actually pretty awesome stuff.
that's weird.
Yeah, she comes home and has it's called Sam in her hair.
Yep.
And then if it's humid out, it'll just like blow up in her hair, and then I get to make fun of it.
So guys, we're gonna do not nearly the length of intro for you guys this time, if you don't mind. I'll just kind of say, if you want to learn like in-depth detail about the movie, you can listen to the last podcast. We'll just kind of run down just the brief synopsis of it. You guys can introduce yourselves again, and say who you played in the film and that kind of stuff.
Yep. Something just to quickly whack through it and.
Yeah. I'll ask you a little bit more at the end. I kind of do that with other guests. Like on the first episode, we'll get into detail at the beginning, and then on the second episode, I usually ask for more details at the end. It just kind of balances it out a little bit better.
Yeah, and that way, they already know if they hate us, so then they can leave without missing any episodes. I understand that.
How could people hate you? You guys are awesome. I know where I can stay when I come out to the West Coast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And but you'll have to find the island though, and that's the now actually. So where are you from in the States?
I'm from Minnesota originally, so I'm as
so
close as you can be. I'm as close as you can become to being Canadian without being Canadian already.
Yeah, you're like an honorary Canadian. You just need to have some maple syrup and eat an Nanaimo bar and call it a day.
Yeah.
Or more bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minnesotans are very apologetic already, so it works out well.
Well, we're sorry for.
I was gonna say we're sorry for being so
like
seriously
that,
sorry.
Sorry. But there's certain pronunciations I'm still working on. Like I was given so much shit to start out with when I first got here for saying sorry. Now it sounds funny when I say sorry. I'm pretty much it's pretty much automatic that I say sorry now.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
And the only people that ever say a boot are pretty much. Yeah, they're like northern Albertan, Saskatchewan, like kind of.
Or you got the Newfies, eh?
Oh,
The
yeah.
Newfies.
You have to love movies. You really do. But I mean, I have no idea what they're saying 90% of the time.
Well, we go there, go fishing out there, a bunch of horses over there. Go there, go there.
I heard fishing.
the Trailer Park Boys, right? That's Newfoundland, or is that's New Brunswick?
I don't even know.
Yeah. No, you would know if they were Newfies because you'd have no idea what they're saying whatsoever. You'd know the words, but you don't recognize the assembly of the words.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
The sad part is that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, it's...
Absolutely true.
All right, are you guys ready to go?
Now I'm ready to rock and or roll.
Everybody comfortable?
I'll just grab a token dragon.
Everybody.
Not even gonna ask.
Everybody should have a token dragon, really, when you think about it. All right, let's start. I'm Dave Nelson, and joining me on the host panel to talk about our favorite mining space movies and TV shows is Brad Ludwig, Matt Stein, and Mark Krawczyk. How you guys doing?
Good. I'm ready.
Pretty darn good.
Well lubricated.
That was our prom theme.
You know, we have this thing, guys, that we have this thing called the Galactic Netcast drinking game, and there's certain rules for certain things that certain people say. You take a drink, and I think we need to add that whole prom theme
I think it's already
thing.
in there.
Oh, it's already in the rules.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't gonna miss that opportunity.
So if you want to contribute to the Galactic Netcast drinking game, or if you want to play along with us when you listen to our podcast, join our Galactic Netcast Facebook group, and you will find all the detailed instructions, the detailed rules in the Facebook group. So our guest geeks this week are 4 of the stars of the short film Mining Moon, which premiered in February and is going to be showed at the CoreCon Festival in Fargo, running June 11th through the 14th. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Geeks Club, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Do you guys want to just run through who you are, what you played in the film, and any other pertinent details before we get into the discussion topic?
All right. My name's Gord. I played Ambassador Thude, the guy with the big hair.
I'm Sydney Howlett, and I played Kaya, the freed slave.
I'm Kyle Hughes. I played Fingies, or the alien, really tall alien who gets his butt kicked.
I'm Jessie Smith. I played Slave Girl and Celeria, the product girl.
All right. Well, again, welcome, guys. If the people listening didn't listen to the last episode of the podcast, you really need to, because we got into much more detail about the film, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot of insight. It's interesting to learn the ins and outs of the production of movies. There's a lot that goes into it, even for a short film. There's so much that goes into the making of it, definitely.
Absolutely. And of course, if you want to talk to us or interact or find out more information, you can look us up, of course, on Facebook too, for Mining Moon the film. Yeah, and you have to see the previous episode too, because we're not going to tell you anything in this one.
I did want to ask you guys, was there any funny incidents that happened? I know that we talked about last time on the previous film that a couple of you were involved with. Somebody lost a toe in a sword incident. Was there anything not close to that, but was there any funny incidents that happened in the filming during this for this movie?
Well, you'll be glad to know that everybody managed to keep all of their body parts reasonably attached to them during that. I think you guys had some good stories on this one, didn't you?
Me?
There was.
I'm trying to think.
There was nasty food. There was
Yeah.
our set, or what would she be? Costume? She was costume and set. She helped with aesthetic stuff.
Leela.
Yeah,
Leela Parks was asked to make a couple different foods on this one.
Yeah, and she made. It was disgusting. It was udon noodles and leaves, and then blue food coloring, and then for the mushroom soup. Oh yeah, she was so disappointed because I kept watching her for this one scene. She was supposed to make mushroom soup, so she'd shake a bottle of pop and she'd pour it over so it would look all fizzy, and she'd be like, "Oh, it looks so cool," and it had a big mushroom in it. And then they'd be like, "Oh, we're not ready to film yet," and she'd be like, and she kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and it never worked out.
No.
And then she was pretty disappointed. But I saw it. It looked really cool. But yeah.
I had an incident. I was doing a dancing routine, and the day before, something went wrong, so we had to add in a few more steps. So the day of, my makeup's on, everything, we're filming, and there's this little rug I was dancing on where it was a little lip, and I just fell. I was down for the count. And everyone helped me up. It's okay, water outside now.
I think the only thing really funny with me was with my makeup that was on me. I had a piece of piece of latex over my upper lip as well as my cheek all the way out here. And the problem with that is I couldn't eat for so long unless I had a little knife and fork, because we all got Subway sandwiches when we were eating. And so you see everyone, I'm loving their Subway sandwich, but there's me with these little fork and knife just cutting it like this and then trying to get the little and then going up and then eating it like that. It was the funnest and most interesting experience ever trying to eat a Subway sandwich.
One of the other problems that we had too, for those that have seen the film here, of course, there's a bunch of albino slave girls, which we have 2 of them here, and one of the problems that we actually had was they were white. Basically, we had makeup white, and pretty much the white kept either coming off or not being white enough, and I'm going to let you in on a little film secret here. I know you're not supposed to air any of the dirty laundry about a film, so you're getting the goods here. There are some of the scenes where Brian had to blow out the white in post, like literally just play with the color to a ridiculous degree.
Sure.
And near the end of the film, because of the red makeup around the eyes of some of the girls, some of the girls look absolutely stoned at the end, and that's actually, and the sad part is we know that wasn't the intention of it. You have to feel sympathy because one of the girls that looks stoned, she's like a tween. I mean, I don't even think she's in high school now, and you kind of go, well, what do you do on this one? What do you do?
Hey, it's science fiction. It takes place in the future. We can explain all this away. They're not stoned.
Right.
They're just the way they look in the future.
That's right. It's a cultural difference. Yeah.
How many different sets or locations did you guys film at?
Well, geographically, we actually only filmed it in what we'll call 2 geographic locations. There was the inside of the spaceship, which was filmed inside of an emergency rescue boat. So the spaceship set was actually lent to us by the Coast Guard, and that's one of those crazy boats that they send out into nauseating waters that's actually completely watertight. And then the rest of it was filmed at Vancouver Island University, so here in Nanaimo. But the bar was filmed in the bar, and then there's a handful of other locations that we made use of throughout the university. And because we shot during the summer, there were only a couple of the summer sessions, and it was pretty vacant. Yeah.
And some of us were really tan because it was like, Brian's all like, don't go in the sun, you can't get tan. And the one little girl was so tan. Like, she was so tan.
That was Brooklyn. Yeah,
the littlest one.
Yeah, the littlest one, the one that ended up, that was actually exactly the problem was, of course, she's supposed to be albino. And, while you've got 2 gingers sitting on the couch here, everybody else seems to get really dark when they get in the sun rather than burst into flames. So, so by the time that we had to do the filming with her, Brooklyn had tanned so much. She had went from an albino to a Mediterranean, which is a bit of a snag, as you can gather.
Yeah, exactly. All right, hey, let's talk about films that may have inspired this one. It's all films and movies that take place, A, in outer space, and B, on either some kind of moon or some kind of asteroid. So I kind of put together a list. I found a pretty good source of a collection, a list of movies that fit this category. So let's run them down and kind of take turns. Do you guys want to take turns kind of reading the description of each of these?
Whoa.
Is that cool?
That sounds exciting. Let's, as I know I'm the big talker here, let's start at the other end of the couch here.
Okay, so we're going to start with 1981's Outland.
Yeah.
In the distant future, a police marshal stationed... Sorry, I don't have my glasses. At a remote mining colony in the Jupiter moon of Low Uncovers?
Io.
Oh, Io, yeah.
Io, okay. A drug smuggling conspiracy and gets no help from the populace when he later finds himself marked for murder.
Murder! So who has seen this one? Who's seen Outland?
I think I may have seen this one years and years and years and years ago. I actually think I saw this one like in the late 80s kind of thing on VHS.
Yeah, it would be. I remember seeing it at the video store. I might have actually picked it up on VHS, and it's Sean Connery, right? Sean Connery is the main character.
Yes. Red October.
But this wasn't the one where he was wearing a onesie, was it? No, that was
Zardoz. I think
Zardoz.
Zardoz.
Yes, Zargon.
That is an awesome movie. When I say awesome, I mean bad.
You know, you just need to watch Leonard Part 6 with Bill Cosby.
Oh!
Wow.
Don't mention that. That's awful.
Everything else feels better, you know.
So, Mark,
man.
Mark, you're the movie expert. I take it that you've seen Outland, right?
It's been ages, but yes, I remember seeing Outland. Mostly I remember Sean Connery. He said he was in it in space. It was a decent film. You know, it's early 80s, so your sci-fi is getting into the upswing. You know, I talked on my other show about Mad Max and that, and how much influence that film had. But you got a lot of films like these started coming out in the 80s. It was kind of almost like the start of a golden age for sci-fi films in general, because you had so many during that decade. I mean, the sheer volume of sci-fi that came out in the 80s is crazy. And this was one of those early films where nobody told them they couldn't do what they were doing. You know, it was one of those things, they came up with a lot of crazy ideas, and the production design was out there because no one really had done decent sci-fi outside of Star Wars at this point. So to do something like this was pretty creative. And yeah, I enjoy it. It's a fun one. Sean Connery was decent in it. He carried the film a bit, but it's got a good story behind it, the mystery and such. So.
It's more along the lines of like an Alien or a Blade Runner. It's that type of sci-fi more than like a Star Wars or something like that.
Well, you know, in the early '80s too, they were still a lot of sci-fi when they wanted to go a little dark on you. They were still giving more of, you know, sci-fi had that thriller feel to it rather than, you know, space opera, which of course, you know, when Star Trek in the late '80s came with Next Gen, they kind of transformed what we consider sci-fi now to be more of space opera rather than just science fiction,
right,
as it was before. You know, the thrillers. So
yeah,
that's something I was going with on this. It's gone now.
No, that happens to me all the time. No, you don't have to explain.
Oh no, we're with you, man.
We're with you.
All right. So, Moon 44. Who wants to describe this? Who wants to run down a description of this one?
When Earth's natural resources are gone, huge multinational corporations wage war to defend mineral deposits on various mining planets. Moon 44 is key to one of the corporations' bid for a very hostile takeover. Convict pilots helicopters in the planet's nasty atmosphere navigate by computer whiz kids. One of the pilots, Stone, is not a convict, though. Stone is an internal affair agent sent to catch a traitor that is hijacking mining shuttles. Strong resemblance to Aliens, production design sports tolerable effects, strange mix of action, and teen comedy genres.
You know, I'm looking through this one. I got nothing on this one. You know, I got absolutely nothing on this one here.
This movie sounds terrible.
This movie's...
Bailey.
There was a major star that was in this, and I can't remember who it was now.
Well, you've got
Michael.
You got Michael Perry in it, Dean Devlin, Malcolm McDowell.
Dean Devlin. He's the producer now.
Huh?
Right? He's a writer and producer now, right? Dean Devlin?
Yeah, he does do producing and direction as well. He's done he's produced a number of things. In fact, he's producing the Independence Day sequel. And the reason that is because, well, he does have a tie to Independence Day. He produced that because Ronald Emmerich directed Moon 44.
I see.
Apparently,
Yes.
he was also with Stargate, 1994 Stargate there, too.
Yes, which is a great movie. I love Stargate.
Yes.
Stargate's fantastic. But yeah, it's... you know what? I don't think I ever actually watched this movie, I have to say. With all these people in it, I'm surprised I haven't. But yeah, Malcolm McDowell in it, I'd watch it for it right there. But I can't say that I've actually watched this one.
Matt, I have a question for Matt. Matt, do you remember what movie it was? We did a moon movie for the Sci-Fi Film School podcast, didn't we? It wasn't this one, was it?
No, we did a few.
No, was that Iron Sky?
No, we did. Yeah, we did Iron Sky, but we did another one that was really, really bad.
Was it something about Planet 55 or something? Like the Martian from Planet. It was some.
No.
It was some movie from the 50s.
We did that one, but we also did a moon movie of some kind. Like it was, there was a moon involved. I forget exactly. Sorry.
Project Moonbase.
Project Moonbase. There you go.
No, I'm just.
I saw it on the IMDb page for Moon 44.
Okay.
That Project Moonbase. I don't recall. You made me watch a lot of really bad movies, and I tried to block it out.
It's true.
I know that you've tried to erase these from your memory. I understand. I just thought you might know offhand what that movie was that we watched.
It sounds terrible, whatever this is.
It was not a good movie. I don't think I watched a single good movie. Maybe 2 or 3. We watched UHF one time. That was a good one.
UHF.
Just as a back.
Yeah.
Yeah, as kind of a backstory, guys. Matt and I used to do a podcast called the Sci-Fi Film School. It's basically me forcing Matt to watch movies he did not want to watch.
Yeah.
It was a social experiment, really, when you think about it.
So that's what happened to him, huh?
I was dumb enough to keep coming back every week too.
All right.
So that's why the nasty reaction to Leonard Part 6.
So the next one is Moon 02. This is from 1969. Who wants to run down the description?
A space salvage expert and his partner become involved with a group of criminals intent on hijacking a small asteroid made of sapphire and crashing it into the moon for later recovery. The only place that they can bring the asteroid down without drawing attention to themselves is a far side mining claim. But first they must dispose of the miner. Little known to them, however, is the fact that the miner's sister has hired the same salvage team to help her locate her missing brother.
Well, that sounds terrible.
And it looks really weird. The picture here is interesting.
What?
And it
Okay, I watched a little bit of this, and it was not the actual movie. Like, it wasn't the straight movie, but it was on an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000. They did this
good.
film. Yeah.
That would have made this turkeys probably pretty good.
Yeah. Mark or Brad, have either of you seen this?
You know, I've got nothing on this one either.
No.
I watch a lot of movies, but yeah, I can't say that the moon mining or the mining genre of sci-fi films is high on my list of watching. It was tagged as the first moon western.
No, you're not lying. It kind of was, and it also had a very it came out in 1969, right? Is that the date on it? Yeah. It has a very late 1960s vibe to it. Like the haircuts are very 1960s. It reminds
very odd, I'm guessing.
What's the movie with what's her face in it? Oh shoot.
Yeah, the woman with the hair and the guy with the haircut and the shirt. Yeah.
Oh, the one with the other thing and the stuff?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
And she plays a female. And
Oh! That was like a breakout role.
It was she's part of a famous acting family. Jane Fonda. Late 1960s.
Yeah.
Oh, Barbarella?
you talking about Barbarella?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Stupid brain. Yeah, it's
Dude,
got
all you had to do was say space boobies, and we go, oh, Barbarella.
That's it.
I heard boobs. I tuned out for a little bit, heard boobs, and now I'm back. What'd I miss?
You know what I could never figure out about movies at that time is why there was so much leather. Because, I mean, you really think in the horrors of space and, with the radiation and stuff, wouldn't leather be like your last choice of outfit?
Yeah.
I mean...
Let me ask you this. Why not leather?
Yes.
I was thinking the lack of radiation protection and instant sterility, but that's just me.
Or chafing.
Yeah.
Gonna go with chafing.
Sure is sweaty in this onesie. Ah.
Well, I mean,
Space
they
chafing?
use those big leather for X-ray technicians, right? The whole
The
leather.
leather aprons. Yeah.
That's lead, man.
It's got
That's lead.
yeah. It's got lead.
Ow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're wearing lead and leather.
Oh, that's got to be like the most
Wow.
unyielding material ever and a bitch to sew.
You know, that also just sounds like a title of another movie, Lead and Leather.
Yeah,
I'm gonna DB that.
it sounds like a bad 1980s team up movie. Like it's a good cop and in the felon that he's teamed up with. They have to solve the crime. Lead and leather.
That was our prom theme.
I hear nothing wrong with it so far.
All right, let's move on to something that I think we've all seen.
All right.
Either one of these movies, Armageddon and Deep Impact, and I basically wrote a synopsis, one synopsis for both movies that would fit both movies.
Yeah, this is pretty much bang on the money here. Miners are sent to an asteroid to drill and implant explosives to blow it up to save to save the Earth from global devastation.
I mean, there's variations on the theme, but it's pretty much the same for both of these films, and they were both released in 1998.
Well, it wasn't Armageddon released first, and then Deep Impact was, also, of course, in the can at the same time, and they kind of used the asteroid destroying the Earth thing to kind of ride the coattails of Armageddon.
It was actually Deep Impact was first, Armageddon was second.
Really?
But
Yeah.
both projects were greenlit around the same time, and it falls into Hollywood and why we have so many comic book films now. It's the flavor of the year. When they hear that's a big film that's coming out, there's a few films that jump on the bandwagon. You had it in the 80s more in the B films and that, to where once Mad Max came out, everybody replicated that. Once Star Wars came out, everybody tried to replicate that, not very well. So here you have two films, both with similar themes, though Deep Impact is the superior of the two films. I think that, it wasn't quite the curtails, but yeah, they were competing with each other because I think one studio found out about the other and said, hey, we got to jump on this meteor-destroying Earth train. Going on. So
no, it's the same. It's the same thing with what was it, Dante's Peak and Volcano?
Oh yeah.
Right. Yep. It was Volcano. Yep. The one in L.A.
I
White House
Impact much more had it not for T. Leone, because I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks that she's just not trying, or she has one expression or something? Is that just me?
No, I think you're onto something.
That man.
No, I think you're definitely onto something, Gord.
Yeah. It's had they put somebody a little more charismatic in that role, I think I would have enjoyed Deep Impact much more. But
I always forget which movie. Until recently, I always forgot which movie it was that had the crazy Russian on the space station. That was Armageddon.
Yes.
It was the
That was
crazy.
Armageddon.
That was some of the best part of that. That was some of the best scenes in that movie, was that involving that Russian, because he was bat crap crazy.
Yes, he
Well,
was.
let's stick you alone for a super long time in an enclosed capsule and zero gravity and see how you smell. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But no,
your own stink to make you go nuts.
I love how they got around the whole anti-gravity, or the how they generated the gravity. They docked the two ships and it just spinned. It started spinning, and that's what caused the gravity to form on that space station. That was brilliant.
Now, isn't it the way I understand this, when they're trying to do this, for real? You're only ever going to get, the so-called gravity at the tips of your spinning thing, right? Because the closer you get to the center, you're not going to have the same amount of I always get centrifugal and centripetal force you're basically not going to be flung to the center. So if you sort of climb on up, and then you'll be sitting right in the center of the whole thing, sort of quietly floating around, going, the whole place is spinning, and I'm staying still. This is very nauseating. Yeah.
Wait, we're digging deep into the science of Armageddon, really?
Hey, anything it's Aerosmith singing me a song, I'm gonna dig into the science of it.
It's Aerosmith singing a song because his daughter was in the movie, who plays the daughter of Bruce Willis, who goes on an asteroid with a drill team to drill through the asteroid.
Hey, I don't want to miss a thing.
Oh, get out of here.
How did somebody so attractive come from somebody so horribly not attractive?
That's one of the eighth wonders of the world, I think, really.
Liv Tyler, yummy. Not so yummy.
Yeah, Steven.
I will say,
Steven's
go
been
ahead.
trying to become his daughter for years. Go ahead, Mark.
I'm just going to say these two films are polar opposite as far as tone and direction, though. Armageddon was the more popcorn, wow-ya film, whereas Deep Impact was going a little bit more of a serious tone with it, as far as being a little bit messagey, going, yeah, this could happen, guys, and no, we don't have Bruce Willis to send to the asteroid to drill through it. I mean, you got a great scene in there where we have Morgan Freeman, the first, a black president portrayed in here before we had one. Morgan Freeman in there, and he does great, where they talk about, they've got a plan to blow up the asteroid, and then you find out in another segment, this is a little spoiler, the nukes fail. And you don't get to see any of that in space. It all takes place on Earth, which is what I liked about Deep Impact. Whereas Armageddon, it took all place in space. So, and it was you had the helicopter slow-mo, 360 shots, the slow-mo of the cast, all those wonderful Bay-isms in this film. Sorry, Michael Bay doesn't sit well with me. So they are two completely different films as far as tone and flavor and purpose, I think. But yet they both have the similar themes. So one's a popcorn film, the other one's a make-you-think film.
Before we move on, another comparison would be White House Down and what was the...
Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah, that's the most
Yeah.
recent. That's the most recent example that whole one movie's almost exactly like the other movie.
By the way, there's supposedly a sequel coming out saying London has fallen. Anyway.
Not London Bridge is falling down.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to something non-movie. It's a Star Trek episode. I wanted to include this just because it's such a great episode, and it heavily involves mining. And that's the original series episode, The Devil in the Dark. I think this episode actually sets the record for most red shirts being killed.
Probably. Yeah, I could see that.
And the whole, the famous line, "Pain! Pain!"
Oh, God, yes.
I'll read the summary for this if anyone else doesn't
Go ahead, Mark. Yeah.
Okay. The Enterprise travels to the planet Janus 6 to assist the mining colony there. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beam down to the planet where Chief Engineer Vandenberg tells of a creature loose in the mining tunnels, killing some of his men. The monster seems to appear out of nowhere, then disappears just as quickly. Finding that creature, known as a Horta, lives in a newly opened part of the underground mining complex, Spock uses the Vulcan mind meld to determine why it is killing the miners.
I felt like I was there. That was amazing reading. Thank you.
I transported back in time and then forward in time, all in one paragraph. It was great.
I remember this episode. I don't know if you guys remember this one.
Oh, yes.
I love this one.
Let's see. What year was this?
This was 1967.
I was negative
Shut
18 years old.
Shut it, Matthew.
Along.
Yes, drink a lot.
When you had independent TV channels yet out there in the world, they did occasionally a Star Trek marathon in Milwaukee. Channel 18 do 18 hours of the original series. used to watch it constantly, and they always had this episode in there, and I loved it because they had an actual, true, not just modify the face alien in here, and this an alien that ends up showing up in the animated series as a crew member on one of the starships later on.
Wow, I did not know that. They did some crazy stuff in the animated series.
Yeah, they did.
I do believe it was either the animated series or one of the books. One of those two, it actually shows up as there's a Horta as a crew member on one of the ships. It was either in a book or on the animated series. I think it was animated, but I'm not 100% on that. But
how could that work? Because they don't have like hands and arms, and they can't speak. I don't understand how that would work.
Equality. Don't you need to say that? Equality for all species.
That's right.
All right.
You Horta racist.
This is a great episode, and I love one of the cool aspects of this episode is the whole the clean cut Starfleet people working with these like miners.
Yeah.
Dirty and they're just, like it's the old west. They're just like flying by the seat of their pants, and they don't want Starfleet messing with their stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
it's a fact.
Well, you know the next time they really treated that situation, if you remember when it took them many years into the Next Generation when Picard and Wesley had to deal with that the miner that was transporting them in the ship, and then there's the water and the zippy force shield thing that was going on. They pretty much Star Trek managed to keep it clean cut for years and years, and only touched upon the dirty side of the Star Trek universe until after they didn't really touch on there until after Gene Roddenberry had passed away.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about throwing in some other Star Trek episodes because Deep Space Nine dealt with mining because when the Cardassians had that space station, it was basically a mining processing place. So that had mining. And there were some other episodes on Next Generation where there was mines or underground tunnels or something along those lines that I thought would. But I thought, you know what? Let's just focus on one episode, and this is the perfect one.
We'll stay focused. Staying focused.
All right, Red Dwarf, 1988 to present. It's a super long-running TV series that seems like it's got 9 lives or more.
They're just signed up for 2 seasons,
2
11
more.
and 12.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Brad, do you want to run down the description of Red Dwarf?
Sure. 3 million years ago, a radiation leak killed the crew of the mining ship Red Dwarf. The only survivor was Dave Lister, the chicken soup machine repairman. He spends his time on the ship with a holographic projection of Arnold Rimmer, his dead bunkmate, Cat, a life form that evolved from Dave's cat, Holly, the ship's senile computer, and Crichton, the service mechanoid.
That sounds really interesting.
You've never seen Red Dwarf?
No. I want to now. That looks really cool.
It's British TV sci-fi. That is, it's a comedy, and it's really interesting, and it's like I think one of my first real, with the exception of like classic Doctor Who, like Tom Baker. I think that's the only other BBC thing that I really remember watching early on.
You do have to give it quite a few seasons, though. I found I didn't watch it until probably about 5-6 years ago, and I found that I'd seen smatterings of the later episodes, but I really had to. I started from the beginning, and then I'm like, what is this? And then I gave it about 2 seasons, and it was like visual crack. I had to have more.
The same thing can be said for Star Trek: The Next Generation. The first 2 were complete and utter crap.
Everyone's got a pickle up their ass for the whole first season.
Season 4, best season, bar none.
Oh yeah.
I have a really hard time watching those first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Up until Q. I think it's or Q Who.
Yeah.
Not you. I think it's pretty crappy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Come on, Tasha Yar hitting on Data. How that's humorous. Ha ha. Ha.
Oh God.
I just love the fact that the main character on Red Dwarf is Dave, and I believe the network, the channel that they're on now in Britain, they're on Dave, the Dave TV.
Oh, that's perfect.
Dave's on Dave.
Yeah. Now, okay, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just gonna say Red Dwarf's just definitely very British. I mean, there's shows that appeal that you can kind of see. Yeah, I can see them selling it to the U.S. market, but Red Dwarf is definitely one of those films that, yeah, you got to be a fan of British TV in order to get it. I think.
If you don't like Blackadder, you won't like Red Dwarf.
I've got the VHS set right there of Blackadder.
All right.
So.
All right. I didn't. Who included the Within the Rock, 1996? Oh, that was me. I did.
Take a drink, everybody.
That was the other Dave.
So, by all accounts, this is a really, really, really bad movie. 1996, made for TV, on a direct collision course with Earth. A large moon rapidly approaches from the outer regions of the solar system, and Dr. Dana Shaw is sent along with a specialized mining crew to try to alter its course. Once upon the moon, Shaw is faced not only with a brutal time schedule and a greedy, opportunistic crew captain, but with the release of a seemingly indestructible, cavernous alien imprisoned within the moon eons ago by a race it had been slowly decimating. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't think there's anything about that that doesn't really just scream right in my face, festering ball of crap. There's, that sounds awful.
Oh, Lord.
Just how many tropes can you fit into one TV movie?
Well, I think we covered that a little in the previous episode, but this.
Yeah. Oh, that animal.
Rogue planetoids. What was it? Rogue planetoids, aliens, robots, time travelers.
Yes.
Yeah. No, this is a close second, definitely. 1996. I think that was a really kind of a bad time for sci-fi and TV, except for maybe, let's see, 98 was that spin-off.
Space Above and Beyond.
Yeah, Space Above and Beyond was one of my favorite all-time sci-fi shows, and that was around that time as well.
Hadn't Stargate been released by 96, or was it 97? 98? I don't know. Like Stargate.
No, Stargate I saw in the theater. I was still living in La Crosse, so that was
94, I think.
It was early 90s. It would have been 93, 94.
The TV show was still running, though. Stargate SG-1 got its start in 97.
Yeah, on Showtime, right? Showtime had it the first couple of seasons?
Yeah, they did, yeah. So Stargate SG-1 started at 97, but Sci-Fi was in a weird place in the mid-90s or so.
Yeah. Well, that was in the era of X-Files when it was just sort of, we had established that the thriller, the Sci-Fi had to have a thriller aspect to it.
Yeah. All right, since none of us have seen this movie, we can all agree that it looks pretty bad, so let's move on to our final movie, and I want to say this is probably what's that?
What if it's actually really good? Like, what if someone watched it? It's actually really good.
I'm gonna tort this now. Now I don't want to endorse shameless piracy, but I have a sneaking suspicion this may not be coming to a network near you anytime soon.
No.
I think if we ever bring back the Sci-Fi Film School, Matt, this would be a perfect inclusion in the
I mean, we could do an episode, but
come on, a being inside a moon.
So I'm pretty happy with myself. I don't quite hate myself enough to watch this pilot. So, if you ask nicely, I'd probably do it for you.
Okay, so our final movie is Moon, 2009, probably the best movie on this whole list. Do you guys agree?
We don't have that cheat sheet.
Yes, that was a last-minute addition. I was looking through this and I'm like, oh, we missed that.
It sounds great, though.
The only reason I didn't include this originally, Brad, was we talked about it on our last moon or lunar-based podcast. Remember when we talked about the moon movies?
Yes.
That's the only reason. But I'm glad that you decided to put it in.
Yeah, Moon is Sam Rockwell doing a suspense thriller that takes place on the moon, and I highly recommend if you guys have not seen it.
I know this one. Okay, now
it's really.
I am hesitant to talk about this because, as we all know, for those who have seen this, that if you spell out a certain particular detail on this, it will completely and utterly ruin the entire movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that it's really hard to talk about because of that, because it all hinges on kind of the twist, as it were. On this,
you would get less flack by saying, well, Vader's actually Luke's father, this...
Spoiler!
Wait, what? Wait, Vader's Luke's father? No!
You haven't found out by now. Screw you. That's all I can say. Screw you.
Moon is like a return to the psychological thriller like Alien, except that there is no... It's not violent like Alien was.
And the enemy,
very much...
the enemy is from within.
Or is it?
Or is it? This actually had a lot of vibe of the second half of 2001 with Hal.
Yeah, well, you kind of wonder if the main character Sam Rockwell is playing is losing his mind or what's going on, because his character is mining on the moon for 3 years, and there's talk of all by himself with only the robot companion, which is voiced by Kevin Spacey, as his only other voice that he can talk to.
And then he's trying to get back to his family at the end of the 3 years.
Yes, and he's looking forward to this, and there are certain points where you're like, you don't know if Sam Rockwell's losing his mind, you don't know if his robot or the ship's automation companion Gertie is in on what's going on, or you just don't know. And it's not until you get towards the end where everything's kind of laid out for you and you go, oh. And then you go back and you watch it a second time and then you go, okay, yep.
And it's funny because Gertie sometimes will turn to the camera and talk to it. And I don't know why he does that. It just happens.
It truly was, I think, one of those movies that was underrated.
Yes.
Because it was so excellent.
People didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a movie that kind of sneaks up on you. It really does. And good God, I don't want to say anything because I can completely destroy watching this movie.
It's a subtle film. It's a very subtle film.
And that's like John Carter of Mars, the Disney film. Say what you want to about the film, it would have done better had the marketing and promotions team gotten a handle on what the movie was. And I think that's what the Moon suffered from. Moon was a space film. Moon was a psychological thriller. Moon was a couple of other things that I don't want to give away. And they had no idea how to market it. And I ended up finding my copy of Moon at like a DVD rental place, and they were blowing out all their extra copies. And I'm like, oh, I got $5, sure. And I watched it, and I'm like, God, this is the best damn film I've ever watched in my life. Oh my God! So, I highly recommend find a copy of this and watch it because it's exceptional.
Yeah. I have to say, for anybody that is going to tune into this is a sit down with your bowl of popcorn and invest yourself into this film, because otherwise,
pay attention.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of films that you can put them on the background and just sort of blow them off, but this you really want to sink your teeth into it and devour this movie, because you just get that much more out of it, for sure.
All right, that is it. That is the list of Moon and asteroid mining space movies. I know that was kind of a mouthful when it comes to this week's theme, but hey, why not? It was fun. And we'll have the list and links in the show notes of the podcast that if you want to investigate further into these, especially within the rock. That sounds fascinating.
I've got to look that film up now. I have to.
Why? No, save yourself, Mark. Don't do it.
You know the movies I watch, Brad.
Yeah, I know, but you can just save your brain cells for something else. Don't kill it with that, please.
Wow.
You can watch it, Mark, and report on it later. You can come on the podcast and talk about it. You can
if I'm not a vegetable. If I'm not a vegetable, I will do that.
All right. Before we get out of here, we have a couple of things to plug. J.F. Dubow, who has been a guest host on the last couple of episodes, has this thing. He's got a book called The Life Engineered. It's about robots. It takes place in the future. And he's trying to win this contest on a website.
And he's a fellow Canadian.
Yep, he's Canadian as well. He's from Montreal. He's trying to win this contest on the website InkShares, and you can help out by going to
jfdubow.com/tadbooks.
Tadbooks.
TAD, D as in dog, books.
Yes.
All one word. Tadbooks.
And there he explains exactly what his book's about, how you can go about getting it basically for free. We're gaming the system on this InkShares website, and he's in this competition to get with it. I think it's the top 5 books that at the end of this whole month. I think it's a voting thing, and it's how many orders. It's a whole complicated system. But if he's within like the top 5, he'll be interviewed on the Sword and Laser podcast, and he'll get a lot of exposure by Tom Merritt and Veronica Belmont talking about his book on the Sword and Laser podcast. So
the other thing too is Sword and Laser is going to have a collection, like a series, like a collection of books that they recommend, and JF could possibly be in that, and that's a big deal, really.
It is.
So.
Yeah, again, jfdubow.com/tadbooks. All right, one more plug. Gary Yap, he's been on the podcast a number of times. Good friend of the network. He worked on The Simpsons. He worked on King of the Hill, and he has something going on, Matt, right?
Yes, he did 2 separate drawings for the neurofibromatosis charity that are being auctioned off on eBay right now. There's actually like a large number of drawings that various famous people did. Ralph Macchio did one. Mitch Pileggi, who was on X-Files and Stargate Atlantis, did 2. Dean Haglund, who was also on the X-Files, did 2. William Shatner has one. Kelly Yates, who was Doctor Who or some show. Doctor Who comics, actually. Brad, I see you looking. And then Richard Armitage did one too. But
oh wow.
They're all on eBay. All the money goes to the NF charity. But yeah, Gary has 2 different drawings. One is in black and white and color. I highly recommend going. There's some really cool stuff. I mean, a lot of these people can't draw, but at the very least, you get like some scribbled drawing from a famous person. Like Aaron Rodgers did one, who, being from Wisconsin and living there, he's a super big deal. But some guy who throws a football for like millions of dollars a year. But yeah, he drew. It looks like a 12-year-old did it, and people are just dropping a mint on this thing.
But hey,
we'll put the link in the show notes, so if anyone's interested, they can go and take a look at all the drawings out there.
And I'm sure if you want to go now, if you don't want to look at the show notes, you can just go to Gary Yap's Twitter address. It's at GaryYap.com, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and spelled out. Gary Yap, DOTCOM.
Yeah. Gary's a hell of a nice guy.
He made it back to Facebook too now, and yeah, he's a stand-up guy.
Yep. All right. Hey, thanks to the cast of Mining Moon for being our guest geeks this week, guys.
Woohoo!
Very nice.
You passed the test, and we moving on. Do you want to just real quick? Do you want to just run down the basic synopsis of the movie, where people can get more information about it? Talk about the film festival real quick.
Okay. The movie follows Agent Akawi, who is an agent going undercover to find weapons trading. There is some. I always stumble on this part of the explanation. They're following a story of freeing or dealing with some slaves who are in there. I'm always terrible at giving the synopsis of this. You can come and check us out. You can see the trailer at www.miningmoon.com. Join us on Facebook, Mining Moon-the film. Look us up on there. Come and join the group. You can interact with us. And, of course, we're going to be showing at CoreCon in Fargo, which is going to be happening in July, fill-in time there. July. I forgot the time.
July 11th to 14th.
Thank you.
Sorry,
It's actually
yeah,
June.
July 11th to 14th.
June
11th.
June 11th to 14th.
Is it June?
Yeah, it's June.
Oh, June. Sorry.
And this is why I normally don't do live, you know. Yeah, come and check us out. I think you'll really enjoy the film. Yeah, come and talk to us. And thank you so much for having us on, guys. We've really appreciated both the opportunity and the experience. It's been great.
Yeah, nice meeting all you guys, and we'll let you know. We'll have you guys back sometime. We'll have a visit. You guys can come back on the podcast anytime you want.
Anytime, huh? Well, what are you guys doing tomorrow?
Oh, and Gord, I wanted to say I love the cheat right behind you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. This is there you go. This is an actual kick the cheat. I gotta say, I think he's died because he still makes the noise.
That never gets old. Sorry.
For the rest of us, can you explain what you're doing, and especially for the audio listeners, what the hell's going on?
Oh, okay. I actually have, for those of you that aren't familiar with the website homestarrunner.com, of course had the Strong Bad's email, which was extremely popular. Now it's kind of petered out and they haven't really done anything. But the character that you're both listening to and looking at if you're tuning in online, of course, is the Cheat. Or actually, is the Cheat, because his name is actually the Cheat, and it gets complicated. Anyways, so this is one of the stuffed animals, or the plushies that they made for an in-game or an in-website game called Kick the Cheat. So yeah, and of course, in the game you actually would kick the cheat and he would make various noises. But I think the poor cheat's getting near the end of his life. I might need to give him some surgery here.
I think
it's the cheat. It's the cheat.
This is just a cheat.
So,
all right, thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, hey,
Bye,
Mark,
Dan.
Real quick, where can people...
Damn it!
I'm not done yet. Matt, hang on. Mark, Krawczyk, where can people find your stuff online?
Easiest places to go to specialmarkproductions.com is where you can find my Final Cut, the most recent Final Cut episodes. I haven't done much lately. You can find the Spoiler Room podcast that I do there, the stuff I do for We Live Film, the video stuff. You can also find me on WeLiveFilm.com where I do written reviews as well. And I'm on podcast. Honored to be on this podcast again, sir. Thank you for having me on here. And I'm on also various other podcasts that allow me to be on them for some strange reason. So you can find me at those places, or on Twitter at MovieManiac3D is the place you can find there, where I post everything that pretty much that I do on that feed as well. So that's where you can find me.
All right, cool. I'm Dave Nelson, and on behalf of Brad, Anessa, Matt, Mark, and the cast of Mining Moon, we will talk to you guys next time.
Yay!
Now,
Bye,
Matt.
Dad.
Bye.
Goodbye, Dad.
It's a long story, guys.